Hello and welcome to the Morgan. Today I will be talking about crypto-fascism, a crypto-fascist philosopher, a crypto-fascist commentator, and lastly, a crypto-fascist world leader. A crypto-fascist can be defined as one who carries fascist ideals, but identifies with a publicly different ideology, usually paleo-conservative, conservative, paleo-libertarian, or libertarian, or really any other niche right-wing ideology. Some ways to identify a crypto-fascist is if they use symbols like the German Empire flag, the Back the Blue flag, 4chan terms or flags like the Kekistan flag or the Gadsden flag. Also, using paleo before an ideology is another way because fascism glorifies the cult of tradition or old, and the paleo prefix means old. In this video, to identify crypto-fascists, I will be using Umberto Eco's UrFascist list. Alright, first I will be reviewing German philosopher Hans Hermann Hoppe, and this review can also go for Polish later. Corwin. So, number 1, cult of tradition, a cult around traditional values. Hoppe is known for a sort of paleo anarcho-capitalism. He supports anarcho-capitalism and traditional values. Number 2, rejection of modernism. He has an obsession with the rejection of modernity and a return to traditional values. Action for action's sake. I don't believe he has called for violence or action against any group. Disagreement is treason. Number 4, he claims to be an anarchist, so saying anything like that is betrayal to anarchist thought, because treason is a betrayal of the state. Fear of difference. Number 5, Hoppe calls for the forced removal of LGBTQ, POC, and etc. Number 6, appeal to a frustrated middle class. He believes in anarcho-capitalism will help the middle class. It's called Austrian economics. You should look it up, please. I don't want to explain it right now. Obsession with a plot. Number 7, he believes in the plot that POC and people of color and LGBTQ will replace white people, straight people, cis people, etc. Enemy is both weak and strong. Yes. Number 8, the enemy is both weak and strong. He believes liberals are weak and do nothing, but they also control a sort of new world order. This idea goes hand in hand with number 7. Number 9, pacifism is trafficking with the enemy. Not to my knowledge, he has called for anti-violence, so I don't think so. Content for the weak. Yeah, he has a type of revised social Darwinism, forcefully removing people of color LGBTQ, etc. A cult of heroism. He supports monarchy over democracy, and monarchy breeds a cult of heroism and death in order to serve the monarchy. Machismo, number 12. Yes, he calls for the subversion of women, a kind of toxic masculinity, and machismo. Number 13. Selective populism. Yeah, he claims to be a populist, but is only populist for white, rich, cis-het men. And in conclusion, Hop is a crypto-fascist. So it doesn't take a genius to tell that people like Hop or Corwin are crypto-fascists, and most of the time they're not the ones to radicalize people. The more dangerous people are people like Lauren Southern, Stefan Molyneux, Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro, and what I like to call ironic fascists. Ironic fascists are people who may not be fascists, but normalize fascism, like PewDiePie. His whole drama about being a Nazi and such. I'll be addressing ironic fascists in another video later on. Side note, Steven Crowder, I went to Steven Crowder's channel so I can cite him for being a fascist, and the literal first video that pops up is a video called There Are Only Two Genders, where he's very openly transphobic, so...
And it was harmful in another society, and we agree that it's harmful. For example, we both agree that slavery was harmful. We both agree that maybe cannibalism is harmful. You can find these practices in societies. My point is, it's not a valid argument to simply say it's been found in other societies if that practice is harmful. So it comes down to the idea of, is it productive or harmful for us to separate the idea of sex and gender?
Political commentator Steven Crowder, number 1, cult of tradition. He supports the conservative and traditionalist ideal previously mentioned that there are only two genders, and compared gender identity to cannibalism and slavery.
That's a guy, by the way.
Could have fooled me.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what he's trying to do, is fool you, and then sue you for not using the right pronouns.
And has a shirt called Socialism is for Figs, and supposedly it's supposed to mean fig, like the fruit, and also supposedly in reference to the fact that Che Guevara died in a place which translates to the fig tree, and we all know what socialism is for figs means, right? Also, another side note, the shirt has Che Guevara doing a hand gesture which commonly is used to identify gay males. Number 2, rejection of modernity. He refuses to use modern technology that helps the environment, such as solar power, wind power, not to mention the refusal of the idea that climate change exists. Number 3, the cult of action for action's sakes. He has harassed many people who disagree with him, including Carlos Maza, who on Twitter called him out for being homophobic and transphobic, which he absolutely is. Number 4, disagreement is treason. Yeah, he has called many people who politically don't align with him anti-American and socialist, which apparently is bad according to him. I don't know. 5. Appeal to difference. Yeah, he's known for harassing many people who are different than him. Number 6. An appeal to a frustrated middle class. Yeah, he has many times tried to appeal to the working class, to working class people who have held similar ideas to him. Number 7, obsession with a plot. He is obsessed with a plot that liberals will take over America and turn it into a sort of communist dystopia. Number 8, the enemy is both weak and strong. He calls the American left strong. He says they will take over the country by force and still a communist dictator, but also calls them soy boys and twinks and SJWs and 14-year-old bisexuals with blue hair and etc. Number 9, pacifism is trafficking with the enemy. Yeah, he continues to say anyone critiquing American imperialism in the Middle East is someone who traffics with the enemy or the left wing. Number 10, contempt for the weak. Yeah, he calls anyone who is slightly less feminine weak. He calls anyone who's not masculine weak. Number 11, a cult of heroism. He is very toxically masculine and has ties to the cult of heroism. And number 12, machismo. He follows a sort of cult of masculinity where he harasses and belittles anyone slightly less feminine than him. And number 13, selective populism. He tries to appeal and has tried to appeal to Gamergate guys from 2016 who watch SJW owned compilations from Ben Shapiro. Number 15, Newspeak. He says Nazis are socialists since it's in their name, but the fact that Antifa means anti-fascist doesn't really mean they're anti-fascist.
The wordplay. You really believe Nazis are socialists? Well, I don't know. Gun control, anti-free speech, higher taxes, national. Whoa, okay. Well, listen, they were racist. What? Are you Antifa? Yeah, I am. Secretly, yes.
So, yeah, I think it's safe to say Steven Crowder is a crypto-fascist. And lastly, I will be talking about the infamous Donald J. Trump. We all know him, we all hate him. Number 1, code of tradition. One of his 2 main slogans is "Make America Great Again." He clearly wants to return to allegedly better and more traditional time. When was America great? Was it during slavery? Was it during segregation? Was it when women had no rights? Was it when gay people were in prison for being trans or gay? Was it when America cooed many socialist countries all across the world and replace them with brutal dictators like Pinochet. What I'm trying to say here is America was never great. Never. Number 2, a rejection of modernity. Mentioned before, one of his main slogans is "Make America Great Again," which rejects modernity and wants to return to ideals of nationalism and traditionalism of old.
Respect it again, because we are putting America first.
It's safe to say he does reject modernity and wants to go back to the ideals of old. Number 3, the cult of action for action's sake.
Not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name.
supremacists and
Who would
white
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and white
Proud
Boys.
Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing.
I think this clip speaks for itself, but I will elaborate. He says, stand back and stand by. Stand by as in stand by for a situation where you can step into, where authorities aren't killing enough minorities so you can kill minorities. Step by as in when Antifa members are having a peaceful protest so you can antagonize the protesters and start a fight without getting authorities involved. Number 4, disagreement is treason. He calls anyone who disagrees with him treasonous, sly, and liars, and not a supporter of Joe Biden. But when Trump calls him a socialist and anti-American, he is basically saying Biden is treasonous. While I have no doubts that Biden has sold out this country many times to corporations in other countries like Saudi Arabia. Number 5, fear of difference. On multiple occasions, he has signed bills and executive orders that suppress rights of LGBTQ and women and people of color. Notably, recently he made it able for healthcare workers to discriminate based on gender identity. He has also used ICE to its advantage and strengthen their power. Number 6, an appeal to a frustrated middle class. Let's start this off with his 2016 campaign in the Midwest. He appealed to workers and claimed his big tax cuts will help them. He promised bills to help the middle class. How many times has he carried these out? None. Not once during his 4-year term as a president. Number 7, obsession with the plot. He is obsessed with the plot that the media is out to get him, that they are radicalizing the people into a sort of communist army to coup him and install Comrade Biden as dictator of the Soviet Socialist Republic of America. This is just a blatant lie. Not only is Biden and the media not communist, this is coming from quite the communist. I am a communist. I identify as a communist. I have communist ideals, but they are radically anti-communist. Biden and the media are radically anti-communist. They are radically capitalist, radically neoliberal, radically conservative. Number 8. Our enemies are both strong and weak. He says the media is just a big bad conglomerate of Antifa members waiting to assassinate them, while also saying they're soy boy liberals who want a twink ethno state to have drag races all the time. Number 9. Pacifism is trafficking with the enemy. He says protesters, peaceful ones at that, are trafficking with the left conglomerate to sell out the nation to countries like Russia or China. But they're not. Number 10. Contempt for the weak. Let's address his other slogan. Build the wall. He calls people who just want to live in a safer environment rapists and murderers. This is nothing less than nationalism, ethno-nationalism at that.
You can imagine what those countries put into the system. They're not putting their good ones. And remember my opening remarks at Trump Tower when I opened. Everybody said, oh, he was so tough. And I used the word rape. And yesterday it came out where this journey coming up, women are raped at levels that nobody's ever seen before. They don't want to mention that. So we have to change our laws. And the Democrats, what they're doing is just, it's insanity. Nobody understands what's going on. So we have to have strong borders. We're going to have the wall. We've already started building it. We have $1.6 billion. We've started building it and fixing miles and miles of wall that's already up and fence.
Build the wall is a strongman concept to keep out the weak and the rapist, Latinx and Hispanics. Again, coming back to the enemy is both strong and weak. He is in love with strongmen, basically dictators like Lukashenko and Vladimir Putin. And he has a very strong macho persona, despite being probably the least fit president since Taft or FDR. He's very toxically masculine. He uses this strong persona to scare the weak. The weak, of course. A cult of death. Death cults like the Proud Boys or the KKK, quite literally because the KKK openly supported him in both of his races. They have supported him over the years as he praises them for stuff like Unite the Right or the Kyle Rittenhouse shooting. He calls them very nice people.
But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me.
While they kill POC, people of color, in the streets, while they beat protesters to a very close death. And once you think about it, you say, are they really fine people? Machismo. As mentioned earlier, he is very toxically masculine, has a very macho persona, of course. Also, as you know, I'll just play this clip. I'll just play it.
I'm going to use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Whatever you want. Grab them by the pussy.
He's rapist and misogynist, and like Crowder, harasses and dehumanizes anyone more feminine, or even less masculine than him. Number 13, selective populism. Again, going back to appeals to a frustrated working class. He speaks up for a straight, white, cis-men majority and uses classic right-wing populist tactics to appeal to them so he can stay in power. He also appeals to big businessmen who pay him, and in return he gives them tax cuts. Number 14, newspeak. Trump has used newspeak many times during his presidency, most notably coining the term fake news. He convinces conservatives and Republicans that any news about him failing to respond to the ongoing pandemic properly is just fake news. This is also one of the reasons he has had a falling out with Fox News. So, I think it's safe to say all three of the people we just went over are crypto-fascists, are fascists. Anyways, thank you for listening, and please go support my friend Chloe, who was a humongous help in making this video. And I mean this quite literally. She edited it, she helped me with the script, etc. Again, please go support her. Her Instagram is in the description and the credits you're seeing on the screen right now.